one power, one power, one power. There's one power invisible, yet we see it everywhere in everything. There's one power indescribable, yet we speak of it in every word we say. Mysterious until you know the truth, as simple as the love inside of you. Call it God, call it Spirit, call it Jesus, call it Lord, call it Buddha, Baha'u'llah, Hashem, or Heaven's Door. It's Muhammad, it's your mind, it's your soul, or it's your sign. It's the universe, it's music, Mother Earth, or Father Time. But whatever name you give it, it's all one power, can't you see? Whatever name you give it, it's the very air we breathe. Oh, it's the power of the love in you and me. One power, one power, one power. It's one power, one power, one power.
Let's all take a deep breath. Be present in this room, in your chair, knowing there's people around you. And let my words speak for you, if you're comfortable doing that. Today is Easter. Easter represents a movement towards awakening, new life, new growth, spiritual renewal. It's also spring, and this is the season of sowing seeds in fertile ground. New growth, planting the garden of our souls. When I keep my thoughts positive and my words affirmative, I create an environment that produces positive action. I become the fertile ground for abundant good to manifest. Into the structure of spiritual substance, I plant seed thoughts. Thoughts of abundance produce prosperity. Seeds of light fill me with new insights. Ideas of life become visible as wholeness. Seeds of love show up in my world as harmony and peace. In prayer, I plant seed thoughts and carry them with me throughout the day. I choose positive words that take hold, grow, and produce an abundant harvest of good. I am blessed, and I give thanks for every blessing. So on this beautiful Easter Sunday, we find ways to promote growth, to promote awareness and health, and to plant those seeds of beauty, peace, and love. And so it is.
It's the moment of creation. It's an everlasting peace. It's the freedom of forgiveness. It's the sweetness of release. It's the joy of inspiration. It's the sunlight on your face. It's the birthright of all nations. It's the boundlessness of space. It's the beauty of a baby, the serenity of sleep. It's the anger we abandon for its love that's most deep. It's one power. It's one power. It's the power of the love that lives in you and me. It's the power of the love in you and me. One power, one power, one power. It's one power, one power, one power.
A truth that has long lain buried at superstition's door. I see in the dawn uprising in all its strength once more, hidden away in the darkness by ignorance crucified, crushed under stones of dogmas. Yet lo, it has not died. It stands in the light, transfigured. It speaks from the heights above. Each soul is its own redeemer, and there is no law but love. And the spirits of men are gladdened as they welcome this truth, reborn, with its feet on the grave of error and its eyes to Easter morn.
I am a child of the living God, made in the image of perfect love. All that I am, all I've been given, to you, my God, I surrender. I surrender. Let's sing our hymns in. I am a child of the living God, made in the image of perfect love. All that I am, all I've been given, to you, my God, I surrender. I surrender. Let's sing out. Here we go. I am a child of the living God, made in the image of perfect love. All that I am, all I've been given, to you, my God, I surrender. I surrender.
Good morning and happy Easter. And wow, just wow. This is fun. So we have a fun day today at Youth and Family. After service, there will be some live bunnies out front. So you can come and pet them and get pictures. We also have an Easter egg hunt going. It is not going to rain, so it will be out back on the playground. So come join us for that. And then last weekend, our high schoolers were at Rally, which is our regional event, and they want to share a little bit with you. So I'm going to have Aiden and Ruthie come on up. Ruthie's first? Okay.
Get up there, So we went to Rally, and it was an amazing experience. We all bonded in ways that we never knew we could, and there were a lot of meditation experiences, and the whole camp was just like, it was such a community to go, and yeah, and here's Aiden.
All right, so as she was saying, it was a lot of fun being bonding with other people. Mostly, the theme for this event was the ripple effect. Good for you. What the ripple effect meant to most of the people at camp was what your actions would do to others. So if you were to say something offensive, you got to think about how that would ripple out to other people. We did a lot of fun shops, kind of fun, I guess. Yeah. Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
So thank you again, everyone who contributes to Youth and Family, especially on hospitality days, when we do that, because you guys helped make this experience for our teenagers happen. So Happy Easter. Please join us in our blessing.
Thank you for being our family. Thank you for being our friend. Thank you for blessing and teaching us. God bless you. Amen. All that I am, all I've been given, to you, my God, I surrender.
Aiden, stop standing there and go have some fun. Go have some fun. Thank you for defining fun shop for us. I actually remember the first time I went to a rally, it was like, fun shop? What the heck is that? Is it a place? But it's not a workshop, it's fun shop. So those are great kids, great youth people. So good morning and welcome to Unity in Lynnwood. I'm so glad to see you all there. I'm glad you all found a seat. That's important. There's no better time than on this sacred holiday to talk about our community's dedication to the idea of intentional welcome. What we want to convey by this is that every person is welcome, no matter where on your spiritual journey you might be. As a spiritual community, we know that what is sacred cannot be contained by walls or words. All of us here arrive with a variety of life situations and circumstances. We come here because we value companionship on our journey, which is non-judgmental, curious, respectful, and engaged. So many of us arrived here today with ideas of what the traditions of our youth and any part of our life portray about Easter Sunday. We all have different experiences. We all have expectations, maybe, of what that means or things that we remember. Today might be a little different. It might be a little, our service might be different in content and maybe in some structure, but absolutely not in truth. Because here above all, we value love, acceptance, and diversity. We're open to discuss new thoughts and ideas, and we welcome all of your stories. So whoever you are and whatever your story, we bid you welcome today, and we thank you for sharing this season of renewal and rebirth with our spiritual family, and we're glad that you're here. I'm glad that I'm here. Yay! This is my fan right here. We like to talk about giving on the third Sunday of the month, and that is, when you go to church, we often give tithes or love offerings. And whether you give by cash or check or credit card or EFT, please, we ask you to consider standardizing your giving by joining our Giver Circle program. This is a safe, easy, convenient, and flexible way to give, and it provides helpful data to your board of trustees. If you find consistent value in our services, please consider responding with consistent giving. The Giver Circle program, so you can sign up, and each month your gift is automatically accepted from you. In the back, as you walk out, there's Giver Circle information forms that you can fill out. You can give that to a trustee or someone with a name tag. And if you feel like, well, but I like putting something in the basket as it comes around. Some of us do offer a little blessing. But we have two tools here. We have a Giver Circle card, and we have little stones that you can take as you come in, and then that gives you a physical representation of putting something in the offering basket if you like that. So if you do find value in our services, please feel free to take advantage of this service that we offer. Other services that we offer is prayer support, because prayer is important. In any tradition, any spiritual thought process, prayer is important. And as a Unity Church, we like to talk about affirmative prayer as being the highest form, or potentially the highest form, of creative thought. Through prayer, we release negative thoughts and hold in mind statements of spiritual truth. Through meditation and prayer, we can experience the presence of God. Prayer and meditation heighten our awareness of truth and thereby transform our lives. Prayer is valuable not because it alters the circumstances and conditions of your life, but because it alters you. Charles Fillmore, co-founder of Unity, said, "You can make yourself a new creature, and you can build the world about you to your highest ideals. Do not fear, but speak to spirit the desires of your heart." So at Unity in Lynnwood, we offer many ways to support you in your individual prayer lives. We have a confidential prayer line. That information, if you got a program as you came in, it's on there. It's also on our website. You can take advantage of that. We have prayer slips in the seats in front of you that you can fill out and put your prayer request on here. Drop this in the offering basket later. This is kept very confidential, but we'll get lots of support from our prayer team. And we have our prayer chaplains, who are incredible servants of this community and are always available to attend to us in prayer. If you have a prayer request that you want someone to pray with you one-on-one today, you can come up to either side of the sanctuary up in front here after service, and one of our prayer chaplains will welcome you back. And we also like to acknowledge them. You can find them because they wear beautiful purple stoles, but if our prayer chaplains this morning would be willing to stand for us so we can say, there you are, thank you. Thank you for being here. Another way that we stay focused on our spiritual path is through denials and affirmations. Denials and affirmations are short, powerful statements of truth, spoken silently or audibly to our subconscious mind for the purpose of relaxing the soul. I love that. Relaxing the soul and opening ourselves to the flow of divine ideas from Spirit. They are written in the present tense and spoken in a relaxed manner. I am strong. Okay, sometimes they come out that way. I bet you all have been there. But they don't have to be spoken that way. A denial states the powerlessness or impermanence of a situation and thereby prevents our subconscious mind from investing energy in a mistaken belief. That's good, isn't it? An affirmation states the truth of a situation and thereby instructs our subconscious mind to focus attention on that which is true and should be permanent. So on Sunday mornings, we have a denial and affirmation. It's right there behind me. I'm going to read it once. Take it in. Take a moment to let it sink in with you. And then you can join me in saying it afterwards. And if you'd like to stand at that point, you can. Difficult moments do not stand against me. For even the crucifixions of this human experience energize a self of stature, of genius, of mastery, who longs to fling aside all stones of limitation. Right? Let's say that together. Difficult moments do not stand against me, for even the crucifixions of this human experience energize a self of stature, of genius, of mastery, who longs to fling aside all the stones of limitations. Careful flinging those stones with all these people in the room, because you might hit somebody. Take a moment, say hi to people.
Everybody, get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Everybody, get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Let us be reminded of who we've come to be. We are love, we See the light in everybody you meet. Let us be reminded of who we've come to be. We are love, we are one big family. Hey, hey, yeah, yeah. Hey, 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 yeah, yeah.
Right on now. Woo, you stay up, stay up. Repeat with me the words of Charles Fillmore. I am. I am now. I am now in the presence of pure being. And immersed in the Holy Spirit. Of life, love, and wisdom. I acknowledge your presence and your power. O blessed Spirit. In your divine wisdom. Now erase my mortal limitations. And from your pure substance of love. Bring into manifestation my world. According to your perfect law. And so it is. Amen. Ooh, small group ministry. We have support for you, my friends. Highlighted in bold are those gatherings that are yet to occur. Today, the men's group, following this service, Music for the Soul Song Circle on the 27th, Students of Myrtle Study Group. It happens during the 9 o'clock service on the last Sunday of each month. And of course, the first of the women's group visioning meetings on the 28th. Ooh, life is good. It was about 1,000 years after what today's Christians call that first Easter that the idea of substitutionary sacrifice, the idea that Jesus died for human error, emerged. The idea first appeared in a writing issued by the Archbishop of Canterbury. The original followers of the way, you understand, of course, that the term Christianity cannot be found in your Judeo-Christian Bible. The early followers of the way would not have related to such an idea at all. So perhaps this alone is the gift that someone came here to get this morning. If you walked in with decades of guilt because Jesus died for something that you did wrong, allow this to be the place and allow this to be the time in which that psychic burden is cast to the cleansing winds of new understanding. For even the quote that Jesus gave his life a ransom for many is best understood to say that his commitment to forgiveness, to equality, inclusion, wholeness, peace, plenty, and power for the many in a culture of political oppression and economic exploitation by the few, quite simply, was not for sale at any price. Happy Easter.
Holy moon, rise in the desert, follow the sun, follow rise with the eagle. I will be free. I will be free. I will be free.
So it is that we invite our brothers and sisters in Sri Lanka into this place of expansiveness. We invite all who suffer at the hand of small thinking into this expansiveness. All who suffer at the hand of bigotry, inequality, prejudice, bias, we invite you into this expansiveness. That even in this moment, we remember God. And so it is. We talked about it last week in terms of what it was. Two processions entered Jerusalem on a spring Sunday in the year 30 or so. The convergence of a royal procession led by Pilate and rooted in imperial supremacy and bloody violence, and a peasant procession led by Jesus and rooted in universal equality and unconditional love, inaugurated the first Holy Week, a climax of over 1,000 years of escalating tension. The stage was set with a political oppression in which the many were ruled by the few, an economic exploitation in which as much as 2/3 of the wealth generated by the commoners went into the coffers of those wealthy and powerful, and a religious justification for all of it. It went something like this: if the emperor is the son of God, then the oppression, then the exploitation must be the will of God. A theology which found all but the most courageous muttering something akin to, well, I guess this must be God's will. On Monday, Jesus cursed the fig tree, drove the buyers and sellers from the temple, overturned the table of the money changers while saying, "Is it not written, my house shall be called a house of prayer for all the nations?" You understand, of course, Jesus was dissatisfied. On Tuesday, according to the writer of the Gospel of Mark, Jesus offered an ongoing demonstration of trap and escape and counterattack through a series of really smart, very public exchanges with the authorities. Should we pay taxes to Caesar? Asked one, to which Jesus' yes would have alienated his peasant audience, but to which his no would have legitimized his persecutor. So there's the attack, you see, right there. And Jesus responded, well, render unto Caesar that which is Caesar's, and render unto God that which is God's. And there's the escape, for you see, it would have been well understood by Jesus and many of his contemporaries that everything belonged to God. So should we pay taxes to Caesar? And Jesus effectively answered, well, Caesar should get everything Caesar deserves, which is nothing. And there's the counter attack, you see. In response to further questioning, he extended what Christians would call the Great Commandment, comprised of 2 passages from Hebrew scriptures, the only Bible he knew, you understand. The Lord is one, and you shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your mind, and with all your strength. And of course, you shall love neighbor as yourself. And he went on to tell a couple parables, and the crowds were deeply moved by his messages. In fact, the crowds were so moved by his messages that the authorities sought to arrest him privately, because if they arrested him publicly, riots were certain to ensue. If they waited for the completion of the festival, he was certain to be gone. So they sought to arrest him privately because it was their only viable option. On Wednesday, an unnamed woman poured expensive ointment over his head. You see, this was a burial ritual, really. She poured expensive ointment over his head and received a stunning accolade when he said, "Truly I tell you, wherever the good news is proclaimed in the whole world, what she has done will be told in remembrance of her." For of all who had heard the prophecies of his death and resurrection, she was the first one who believed him. And this isn't surprising, for the women were there from the beginning of his ministry. The women were there from the beginning of his ministry, and I have to believe that we are just now beginning to heal from the ill effects of pretending that they weren't. But that's a Mother's Day talk. And you know me well enough to know that I would never leverage an Easter as a promotion for a Mother's Day. I wouldn't. So this woman, for the writer of the Gospel of Mark, is the first believer. For many more who followed, she's considered to be the first Christian. Thursday is marked by the Last Supper, prayers in Gethsemane, Peter's 3 denials, the arrest, the interrogation, and the condemnation. On Friday, Jesus was delivered to Pilate's soldiers. He was tortured, humiliated, even undergoing a mock coronation in which they clothed him in a purple cloak and crowned him with thorns. He was crucified, a form of public terrorism reserved for those who deny imperial authority, and he was buried. Now, until this moment, the story of Jesus might have slipped into anonymity along with those of countless other Jews who were crucified by the Roman Empire. But from Sunday's account, we read, when the Sabbath was over, Mary Magdalene and Mary, the mother of James, and Salome brought spices that they might go and anoint him. And this isn't surprising, for the women were there from the beginning of Jesus' ministry. But that's a Mother's Day talk. And you know me well enough to know that, okay, now. And then very early on the first day of the week, when the sun had risen, they went to the tomb. They had been saying to one another, "Who will roll away the stone from the entrance to the tomb?" When they looked up, they saw that the stone had already been rolled back. And it was from that moment that the story of Jesus established its firm place in history. You will have 3 opportunities to sing this morning. Will you say yes? Yes.
I'm raising the veil between me and my God. No separation no distance at all. God is right here in my heart. God is right here in my heart. God is right here in my heart. I'm raising the veil between me and my God. No separation, no distance at all. God is right here in my heart. God is right here in my heart. God is right here in my heart. I'm raising the veil. I want to know you, oh God. I'm raising the veil. I want to see you, oh God. Oh God, I'm raising the veil. I want to hear you, oh God. I'm raising the veil. I want to feel you, oh God. I'm raising the veil. I want to praise you, oh God. I'm raising the veil. I want to love you, oh God. I'm raising the veil between me and my God. No separation, no distance at all. God is right here in my heart. Sing it with me. God is right here in my heart. God is right here in my heart. I'm raising the veil.
So in our consideration of what it is, we arrive at a familiar point, a point at which we're confronted with our loyalties to the facts or our loyalties to the truths. As I've said so many times before, it's been only in recent years that we have felt compelled to make such a choice. Prior to the Enlightenment, the truths of a tale were never perceived to be dependent upon its facts. And this is certainly true of the culture from which the Eastern narrative arose. The truths of a tale were never perceived to be dependent upon its facts. In other words, it would have been well understood that 40 meant something beyond 40, that regaining sight meant something beyond regaining sight, that getting a haircut meant something beyond getting a haircut. So while a loyalty to facts might stomp its feet and demand, was there really a good Samaritan who rescued a man? And was there really a wayward son who returned to his father? And was there really a whale and a giant and an ark and a leper and 7 horses? Can women really turn into salt? A loyalty to truth stands in resolve and answers it simply doesn't matter. It simply doesn't matter because a loyalty to truth understands that the spiritual value of these stories is neither inflated nor deflated by their factuality. So while Easter can be perceived as a singular story about the life of Jesus, or an isolated event which can be celebrated by some, I would offer Easter as a universal story about what it means to be a human, or a universal event which can be celebrated by all. Now, there seems to be an attitude in positive spirituality that if I could just get it right, I would never experience another trial. Does this... Go pointing at the people next to you now. I mean, if I could just forgive enough, if I could just pray correctly, think properly, life would show up exactly as I have deemed that it should. That if I could just amass enough spiritual power, people and circumstances would happily read the scripts of infinite earthly pleasure that I've written for them. That my horizon might be dotted with rainbows and pink unicorns for as far as the eye can see. Does anybody relate to this thinking? But I don't think this attitude is supported by our study of the life of Jesus. In fact, I don't believe this attitude is supported by our study of the lives of any of our world's courageous pioneers, be they spiritual or otherwise. So in our unapologetic unity positivity, if the message of Holy Week isn't that life's crucifixions are made avoidable through spiritual understanding, perhaps the message of Holy Week is that life's crucifixions are made meaningful through spiritual understanding. I have to wonder if this is what Eckhart Tolle meant when he said, awakening honors and welcomes pain for that which it is, the self, conscious in the form of grace, beckoning us to abandon our limitations and to return home to boundless joy, peace, and happiness. Or maybe this is what Eric Butterworth meant when he said, there is within you a person of stature, of genius, of mastery, struggling to be released. I have to wonder if this is why the cross is simultaneously a symbol of human torture and divine redemption. Perhaps on some deep level we recognize that behind every form of suffering lurks an indescribable grace. Perhaps we recognize on some deep level that even the most painful things of earthly life would serve to call us forth into higher versions of ourselves.
Am I strong enough to bear the burdens that sometimes come living this thing called life? Am I wise enough to make the right decisions when I'm standing at the fork of the road? Sometimes I wonder and ponder, only to realize I'm not alone and there's nothing I have to do on my own, because I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up. I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up. Will I have enough to do the things I need to do to take care of myself? Will I have the health of mind and body to live the life of grace and wholeness? Sometimes I wonder and I ponder, only to realize I'm not alone and there's nothing I have to do on my own, because I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up. Come on, y'all, sing it with me. I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up. I am the place where God shows up. Woo! I am the place where God lives. Come on, clap your hands. Come on, let me hear it. Let me feel it. Let me believe you believe what you're saying. Come on. I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up. I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes. Are you? Are you?
I am the place
Come
where
on.
God shows up.
Are you feeling it? I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up. Oh, oh.
Woo, I think we lost something. We lost something, and I think it started with the early church. We lost something when a politicized patriarchy distanced the ministry of Jesus by replacing follow me with worship me. We lost something when a politicized patriarchy distanced the ministry of Jesus by minimizing you are the light of the world, for I am the light of the world. We lost something when a politicized patriarchy distanced the ministry of Jesus by abandoning do as I do. And the kingdom of heaven is within, and these and greater things shall you do. We lost something when a politicized patriarchy distanced the ministry of Jesus by reframing a timeless example as an ancient exception. And yes, we lose something when we reassign the crucifixion and resurrection dyad from being a universal story about the life of humanity to being a singular story about the life of Jesus. For in such moments, we enjoy the fantasy that we might be able to be born into the new without having to die to the old. It was Bishop John Shelby Spong who said it this way: while humanity has spent the past 2,000 years looking backward and exploring the notion that the divine became human, humanity must spend the next 2,000 years looking forward and accepting the dictate that the human become divine. Or, as I like to say, while humanity has spent the past 2,000 years building steeples pointing to transcendent gods in distant geographies, humanity has to spend the next 2,000 years inverting those same steeples that they might remind each of us of an immanent God which so longs to be realized and energized right here and right now through human minds, through human hearts, and through human hands.
There is one love. There is one power. There is one life eternal. God lives through me. There is one love, there is one power. There is one power, there is one life eternal. There is one life eternal. God lives through me. I am that love, I am that power. I am that power. I am that life eternal. God lives through me. There is one love. There is one love. There is one power. There is one power. There is one life eternal. God lives through me. There is one life eternal. God lives through me. I am that love. I am that love. I am that power. I am that life eternal. God lives through me. There is one love. There is one love, one power. There is one power. There is one life eternal. God lives through me.
Amen, amen. Thank you, Dr. Richard. Our musicians are incredible, and I just have to say, any day where Rise Macon comes up and grabs a mic is a good day. Bless you for sharing your gifts with us. Okay, so now is the time where we like to give back. So as you prepare your tithes and your love offerings, unless you've given at the office already, I'd like to say that we come together as a spiritual community. We recognize the power of giving and thanksgiving. We know that our prosperity comes from the highest source, and we are grateful to have the opportunity to share our wealth where it's most needed. As a community with one mind and one heart, we bless the gifts you're about to give, and we rely on our wisdom and truth to guide us to where they are needed most. Thank you.
Blessed always, blessed always, for the arms of God surround us. Let our joy be so triumphant that we rest in God and say amen. Blessed always, blessed always, for the arms of God surround us. Let our joy be so triumphant that we rest in God and say amen. Blessed always, blessed always, for the arms of God surround us. Let our joy be so triumphant that we rest in God and say amen.
If you could please join me in our offering affirmation. God is my source. God is our source. And that source supports the evolving, unfolding, soul-stirring idea that is unity in Lynnwood in miraculous ways. Thank you. Thank you, ushers, for your service. I also like to acknowledge our gratitude to our online community who is with us today for your donations made through our website and our live stream. And yeah, hi, Facebook people and YouTube people. Okay, that was kind of weak. It's all right. Whatever, right? So, if you are here for the first time, or if you are newish, we'd love to learn more about you, but if you would like to learn more about us, we have a newcomer's information card in the chair in front of you, looks like this. And we have a you can take this with you, get some information about us. There's also a stay in touch card that you can actually fill out your information and give it to someone with a name tag. This just puts you on our email list. We don't give this information to anybody else, and you get like 2 emails a month. It's not overbearing, it's perfect. So if you would like to get on our email list, please take advantage of that. You know, as I like to mention, we do consider ourselves a community of intentional welcome. So we do like to recognize people that are with us for the first time. I know it's hard to step out and say, yeah, here I am. But if you don't mind, we'd like to kind of give you a quick round of applause if you are joining us for the first time. So if you don't mind raising your hand, we'll say hi. Anybody today? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I made a new friend today at lunch, in between services, and I'm glad to see you all and your families here. So please join us after service for, there's some good food in there, coffee, conversation, and we'd like to get to know you better. We do have some announcements, and as always, for details and registration information, you can visit our welcome and information station in the back of the sanctuary. Today's flowers are dedicated by John Brooks in honor of his wonderful wife, Mary Sue's birthday. Oh. And by Ellen Snow in honor of her husband Don's birthday. And by Tori Horsman in honor of Len Burton Hardin's birthday. Happy birthday to all of you, and graciousness to all the people that gave. If you'd like to make a flower dedication, you may do so by visiting the gift shop for a suggested donation of only $10. Interfaith at Unity in Lynnwood presents Father Dan and Reverend Karuna Duvall for their inclusive Eucharistic liturgy on Saturday, April 27th at 5:30 p.m., open to everyone, regardless of previous or present faith traditions or affiliations. I did it. That one was hard, first service. But small accomplishments. Please be reminded to sign the wonderful Do One Thing pledge at the table in the back. Judith Grace Hastings, lovely Judith, Unity in Lynnwood's Earth Care Chair, challenges each of us to participate in this 90-day program of ecological responsibility at the outset of Earth Day 2019, which is tomorrow, which is terrific. Thank you, Judith, for your service there. Yes. And really, thanks to all of us that even with this endeavor, or even in our lives, when we try to do one good thing for the earth every day, it's so important and it really makes a difference. Finally, please be reminded that Dr. Richard and Rabbi Ted Falcon will keynote the 2019 Northwest Region of Unity Churches Conference this September. All are welcome, but registration is only limited to the first 60. So not really all, but be fast. As we said first service, be quick. All good things are happening here at Unity in Lynnwood. You can find the information on your printed program by visiting our Facebook page, on our app. If you don't have it, get it. Or the calendar page of our website at unityinlynnwood.org.
And for those first-time visitors, we do have new welcome DVDs to the left of the door as you leave. Thanks to Cameron Sullivan for putting this amazing new video together. If you'll join me, we'll sing our peace song. That was meant to be, with God as creator, united all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. With me, let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow, to take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
I love love the Easter season because I think its promise goes something like this. It's not that the crucifixion experiences don't happen at this level of reality. The message of the Easter season is that the crucifixion experiences of this level of reality simply don't have the final word. They don't have the final word. They encourage us to unfold more. They encourage us to unfold more, to grow more, to develop more into the fullness that we really came here to be. So let's take a deep breath together. If there's a first name of any soul you would invite into this expansive consciousness of possibility, speak that name now. So opening our minds and our hearts to those souls behind the names, whether those names were spoken with the human tongue or the human heart, yet again and always it matters not. Opening our minds and our hearts to all who have turned anything of a spiritual ear to this conversation. Though it may appear that you are experiencing an evening, please know that that evening comes replete with the promise of morning. Though you may be experiencing an autumn, please know that that autumn comes replete with the promise of spring. And though you may be experiencing something that looks like a crucifixion experience, please know, as we know with you, that that experience comes replete with the divine promise of resurrection. This is where we stand. This is the consciousness we offer. This is the prayer we close by lifting our voices and speaking together these words. There is one power and one presence in, through, and around all creation. So we go forth as the eyes of divine love, as the tongues of divine wisdom, and the hands of divine sufficiency, and the bold and ready hearts of divine life. Have a great week, Unity in Lynnwood.